As health and wellness providers, we know that better patient outcomes require a whole person, multidisciplinary approach that we just can't provide on our own. That's why I've started the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I'll be bringing you interviews with experts, tips, tricks, secrets, resources, systems, and solutions so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And creating your wellness center won't feel like starting over. Jane is an all-in-one practice management software with helpful features like online booking, admin scheduling, integrated payment processing, and charting. But there's more to Jane than you might think. The team at Jane cares a lot about the problems you face as a practitioner. One of those problems is the prevalence of no-shows and late cancellations in practices. So they've made it easy for you with a few simple tools built right into Jane. That includes the ability to implement an online booking payment policy, send out unlimited text and email reminders, and enabling waitlist management features to fill those last-minute gaps that weren't preventable. Come see Jane in action at jane.app. If you know you're ready to sign up, you can mention the show for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. Welcome back, everyone, to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. Today on the show, we have Gabrielle Juliano-Villani, and she's a licensed clinical social worker, consultant, coach, sound healer, entrepreneur, and an educator based in Sarasota, Florida. Did I say that right? Sarasota?
Yes, you did.
All right. She's been in the mental health field for over a decade and specializes in stress, chronic health conditions, and trauma. After realizing her own burnout in 2021, she sold her thriving group practice and made her mission to educate others on the impact stress has on our everyday lives. Gabrielle pulls from her experience as an EMDR and polyvagal informed therapist to utilize mind-body approaches to help others implement everyday strategies to manage stress and live their best lives. She's an international speaker, retreat leader, and has been featured in Authority Magazine, Bustle, The Daily Om, and the Everyday Woman TV network. When she's not working, she's teaching Zumba, surfing, or reading a psychological thriller at the beach. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Kendall.
So let's jump in. What were your own signs of burnout? What were those red flags?
So it's so funny because looking back now, they're like glaring, right? Hindsight is always 2020. But when I was in it, it didn't seem quite as obvious. But I think the really big ones for me were like this feeling of dread that I would wake up with every morning, like in the pit of my stomach, not wanting to check my email, being afraid to check my phone to see like what had happened or what was going to happen for the day. Kind of feeling like I was in a depressive episode, like not wanting to do a lot of my hobbies and just feeling really disconnected and detached from my social life and from my work.
Yeah. I mean, when you say it out loud, everyone would go, well, of course.
Yeah.
That sounds like burnout.
Exactly. But it like kind of like crept up on me as it does, right? You know, we know that burnout happens over a long period of time. It's just not overnight. And it kind of was like, I just kept being like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this way? This seems so weird and different. And yes, like when I look back now, I can see all of the signs, but when I was in it, I was just trying to like push myself and push through, which of course wasn't working very well.
And really, I mean, when you're in it, and I'm a therapist also, and we know this, right? When you're in it, you can't see out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why it's so difficult. And that's why so many people experience it. So what inevitably led you to sell your business, your group practice? And maybe you could tell the listeners just a little backstory about the group practice you had built. Like what formation was that in before you decided to sell it?
Sure. So I'm from Colorado, and that's where my group practice was. And so right in the middle of the pandemic, I moved to Florida to be closer to my family and because, the beach, obviously the weather. And so when I moved, it was right in the middle of COVID and like just everything was blowing up. And as we know, like mental health services were really blowing up. So we had a really big growth spurt. So my practice in Colorado, before pre-COVID, we actually did all in-home counseling with Medicare population. So we were really specialized in working with that niche with older adults, chronic illness, and people with disabilities. And there was such a need for that we grew really quickly because I had luckily formed really good relationships with people in the community there. And people knew that, we took Medicare. There wasn't a lot of people who worked with that population. So we grew really quickly, which was great. But we got really big, and looking back, of course, there were things that I should have done differently. But, at one point we had 15 therapists that I was managing all on my own. And I was doing all of the billing, was doing all the admin work, all of the marketing. And as I got to a point, probably middle of last year, when I really realized I was burnt out and it wasn't just client stuff, I took a deep look at myself and my values and really like what I wanted my life to look like. And I was like, I don't like managing people. Like that is really the number one thing that is burning me out. So that is what led me to look at selling my practice or it getting acquired. Is I just realized like I couldn't do this on my own anymore. And this is also not a good fit for my values and what I want my everyday to look like.
So you sell your practice, and then what? What helped you sort of really heal and recover from the impact of the burnout?
I actually went to a retreat in Costa Rica of March of this year. And that was with she's now my really good friend, Megan Gunnell. And that retreat completely changed my life. And there was actually one thing that we did during that retreat where we mapped out what our normal day looks like and what we want our normal day to look like. And it seems, again, so simple, right? But it was like when I looked at it on paper, and I was like, this is what I do every single day. And the feelings that went with that and the dread and the anxiety and what I wanted my day to look like, I was like, oh my God, like that was just a huge shift for me, just seeing it on paper. And so I took that and I ran with it. And I have been working really hard, almost the past year now, to implement that into my life. And so a lot of the things that I wrote on that very first day in Costa Rica about what I want my typical day to look like, I am just about there. So that was a really big thing for me. The other things that really helped me, of course, were therapy and a lot of mind body approaches. So I'm now a certified sound healer. And before that, I did a lot of one-on-one sound healing sessions. I meditate every day. So those are the things that have really allowed me to turn inward and get out of my head and heal.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
That practice of sort of like current day and ideal day. We do this with every single person I work with, and we do current schedule versus ideal schedule. And it doesn't matter what sort of phase of business you're in, it's for yourself, right?
Yes.
As a business owner, maybe you're a solo provider, maybe you do have 15 providers on your team. But what are you doing every day, all 7 days of the week? And really look at that and think about, how do you feel, first of all, when you see it? And what are the things that you absolutely can't change, right? It's like you have a preschooler that gets out of school at this time and you want to pick them up, and that's the time that you're going to pick them up, right? That has to stay on the schedule. But what are the things that can change? And sometimes it's big shifts, like I'm going to sell my business, or I'm not going to see one-to-one clients anymore as the owner, right?
Yep.
I'm going to step back from that. And once you make that decision and write out your ideal schedule, you make a timeline for that change and work backwards. And it's really, really impactful. And it's completely possible. And it's something that I do every 3 months as my own practice. And I just love that you told that story because it's really, really a powerful exercise.
It is. I love, love, love that you do that every 3 months because, like, again, it does seem so simple, but it's all the small things. All of the small things add up. And so when I looked down at that piece of paper and I saw like that, I was waking up in the morning and like scrolling on my phone for the first hour of the day and feeling like, doing the doom scrolling and feeling the anxiety. It's like, do I want to start my day like that? No, I don't. So that was like the first thing I changed. Now I have a really nice morning routine that, again, I'm lucky to have because I live in Florida. But I sit outside and I have my coffee by the pool. I don't look at my phone. I listen to the birds. I listen to the wind. And that is a much better way for me to set the intention for my day than, getting stressed out by looking at social media. So it is very small, but it is, I think, one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself is just take that look at what your typical day looks like.
Absolutely.
Hey there, this is Katie from Jane. We're delighted to be a part of your listening experience today. Here at Jane, we're on a mission to help the helpers. In other words, we're doing everything we can to help you create a thriving business. We do that by offering features like online booking, scheduling, billing, and charting. We also make it easy for you to use Jane to reduce no-shows and late cancellations in your practice. You'll find that by requesting a credit card on file and enabling text and email reminders, no-shows will drop off significantly, saving you time and potential loss in revenue. Head on over to jane.app to learn more about us, or mention the show for a 1-month grace period if you know you're ready to get started. We'll talk to you later.
So tell us a bit more about what your life was like a year ago and what it's like now, and sort of what you're doing, how that feels, what you're doing business-wise, and kind of just fill us in.
It has changed so much. It's unbelievable to me because when I look back a year and what I look at now are so very different. Last year, I was really drowning. I was overwhelmed. I was, like I said, getting up and doom scrolling. And after I did that, I would get immediately on my computer and I would see clients one-to-one. And in between that, I would do supervision with my staff or do billing or be texting my staff if there was some sort of issue. And I would be, working until the very end of the day until I had to teach my Zumba class. I would do that. I'd come home, sit on the couch and go to bed. Like there was no time for me in between all of those things. And so now I sold my practice and I've really focused on consulting and training. So I work with other therapists or any other small business owners or entrepreneurs who want to learn how to scale, build, add streams of income without burning out, because I've obviously lived that life. So I feel I'm an expert in that.
Absolutely.
And that is what my days consist of now. So now I wake up, I have my nice little morning routine. I usually meditate. I go for a walk. I do a couple of consulting clients. I have time to do other things that I really enjoy, like yoga. I still teach my Zumba, but not as much. So there's more space and time for me. I'm able to travel more. So it's really just opened up a lot of space to where I think some people think that living like this is not possible where I'm working much less, but it completely is. If you put your mind to it and you set the goals in place, you can do whatever you want.
100%. Good for you.
Thank you.
So you have an amazing offer for our listeners. If you want to tell everyone what that is and how they can take advantage of it.
Sure. So anybody who's listening, there'll be a link to schedule with me and you'll get $50 off an hour of consulting with me. So that hour, you can pick my brain about whatever you want. We can talk about scaling, we can talk about selling, we can do some executive coaching or any sort of clinical training on working with clients who have chronic illness or polyvagal theory as well.
Wonderful. This is a great resource. I encourage everyone to reach out. You really have a wide scope of your experience. And I also love that you have just specialized in working with clients with chronic illnesses because we need more therapists doing that.
We do. That's why I wanted to throw it out there because that's another thing that I hear a lot about is people feel not prepared to work with that population. And with COVID, it's becoming more and more popular. So,
well, it's more prominent and there really is a skill set around working with that population. And it was the thing that kept me doing one-to-one trauma therapy for so many years because that was 100% of my caseload was clients with chronic medical illnesses, medical trauma, and they need a very specific type of support. We need a very specific type of support. So,
yes, we do.
So I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're helping other people do it. I encourage everyone to take advantage of this offer. And then if people just want to find you, how do they find you and just connect with you and set up a consultation?
Sure. So you can contact me through my website. That's the easiest way. It's my very long name.com. So it's Gabrielle Juliano-Villani.com. That's my name on LinkedIn. That's my name on Facebook and TikTok. And my Instagram is at GJV Consulting.
Gabrielle, it was so nice to chat with you.
Thank you again for having me, Kendall.
Talk soon.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please visit our website at wellnesscentercreators.com for more show notes and additional episodes. Plus, if you do have time, please subscribe to the podcast and please consider rating and reviewing the show. That will help other people find us. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Wellness Center Creators Podcast.